Hey cats, what's happening? Welcome to my man cave this morning. I haven't got started yet, but the temperature's supposed to go up today. It should be pretty nice, so I'll be out here doing some work. You know, I transformed my shop into a mess here recently with working on this Yamaha. I told you before, I'm no expert mechanic. But I worked on a number of things throughout my whole life. I mean, back in the day, all I had was hoopties, or, junkyard on wheels, I called them, old cars. And there was always something that had to work on them with. So and not having a lot of money, I couldn't take it in somewhere and have it repaired. I had to do the repairs out in the driveway. No garage. Run the thing up on some boards, crawl underneath there. I had a Pontiac Firebird. And it was kind of a street rod, but I don't know how many clutches I went through in that thing because I ran the crap out of that car. And I'd have to crawl underneath there, drop the transmission, pull the clutch, put a new clutch in, put the transmission back up. Oh. Yeah, that was fun. And then later, my son and I rebuilt the old Farmall H tractor. Tore the motor down, put new piston rings in it and the whole thing. So, I guess I do have some mechanical skill, but I'm no certified mechanic by any means. Especially, I'm not a Yamaha mechanic. If I had a certified Yamaha mechanic standing here looking over my shoulder, he'd probably be going, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? No. But, hey, I learn, and sometimes I learn the hard way. So far, it's been going okay with this, though. I learn as I go along. I mean, I take it apart, and then, like I said, I have the PDF service manual on my computer, so I can look at that and, kind of familiarize myself with the parts and read over what the description says and what to do and what not to do. And then when I come back out and take a look, I'm like, okay, now I know what they're talking about. So I kind of learn as I go along. One of the things that I found, though, that I just learned recently, was it might be the key to this problem. Now, part of the problem is that my son had worked on it some 25 years ago. And he doesn't remember what he did or what he didn't do, so I don't know how deep he got into this. He claims all he did was take the covers off the side of the case, but I don't know. I keep finding more things, and I think, did he do this, or well, how did this happen? Well, let me show you something here. This is the shifter shaft. That's where the shift lever hooks on to. And if you look way back here, there's actually a little groove where a circlip fits, and a flat washer would cover up that bushing there. And that was missing. It was never there, which allows this shaft to slide, and it pulls out from the other side. So it looked like the shaft maybe slid in just maybe a quarter of an inch maybe, and that could have been the reason for the malfunction on the shifting. So in the meantime, yeah, I went to Home Depot, of all places. Who would have thought you could get motorcycle parts at Home Depot? I got some washers that I think will slide over that shaft, or I'll make it work. And then I got the circlip that snaps on to that shaft, so that should work. And then I also got some stainless size 20 screws for the muffler pipe. So today I will work on that stuff and put that together. So here's what I think happened. If we look close at this, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it looks like it actually got twisted. See the grooves, how they're kind of twisted at the base there? So I think the impact of when he wrecked it, it also looks like it's maybe even bent a little bit. The shaft itself is okay, but it's just the tip, the spline tip there that I think the problem is. So I think when he wrecked it, that was where the impact was. The impact was so hard that it knocked the circlip ring out, and it allowed this whole shaft to slide out just enough to where this shifter linkage wasn't working right anymore. So that's my plan. I'm going to see if I can reassemble that, put that back together with the clip, and maybe that was the problem. All right, I've got the washer and the circlip on there, and I shifted it through the gears, but it only shifts through 3 gears. And I think on this little disc here, it looks like there's a pin missing on the bottom there that prevents it from shifting again. So now I gotta go look for parts online. Hopefully I can find that piece and replace it. Hopefully. That's another challenge. So listen to this story. I was out in the Silverado the other day, and I come up on this intersection, and I'm going to turn right onto the state route. And there's a flagger there, the guy holding the sign, slow, stop, and he's stopping traffic on the state route. Well, I'm coming in, and I want to turn right. So he, puts his hand up for me to stop and tells me just to stay there and wait. So I'm sitting there waiting, and traffic was coming up the other way. And finally the last car comes and the guy waves me, go ahead and go. So I pull out and I turn, I make my right turn, and I start going down. I was in the oncoming lane because the right lane was closed with all construction equipment. And I probably went about 500 yards down along the construction area, and all of a sudden I see like vehicles coming straight at me. I'm like, what? Now what do I do? I mean, I got another pickup truck coming head on towards me, and there's like nowhere to go. I'm like, ugh. So over to my left, I see this like driveway pull off, kind of a gravel area. So I pull off there, and I'm like, now what do I do, And there was a couple cars behind me, and they had kind of pulled over into the construction area as far as they could. Well, next thing I know, there's this young, fat construction kid, with his day glow green, yellowish green vest on, and he's got his white hard hat on, and he's just going berserk at me. Well, I had my windows rolled up and I had the radio on, and all I see is him standing out there on the side of the road, carrying on, like an imbecile. And I roll my window down and I said, what's the problem? And he says, don't you know when you got it? And he's cussing me, carrying on, jumping up and down, screaming, waving his arms. And I said, excuse me, but the guy back there flagged me and told me to go ahead. I said, somebody's got their wires crossed. Well, he didn't hear a word I said. He just continued to carry on like a raving lunatic. And one of the older construction guys came up and grabbed him and said, dude, cool down and go back to your station. Cool down and get back to what you were doing. And then he looked at me and he said, I'm really sorry. He said, he's a new guy, and apparently he's got anger issues, but he says, I really apologize. And I said, well, somebody has miscommunication on your traffic control here, because I was flagged to go ahead and go. And then next thing I know, I see car. He goes, that's all right. Don't worry about it. He goes, we'll let these cars go by, and then when it's clear, I'll tell you to go ahead and go. That's cool. So it did. A couple cars went by, and then he says, go ahead and go on. And which I did, and that was it. But that kid, I'm slow to anger. I have a lot of patience. But when somebody pulls something like that on me, just off the wall, and screaming and yelling and cussing me out, I wanted to get out of my truck and chest butt him. I mean, I was angry, but I gave it some thought real quick, and I thought, you know what? Don't escalate the situation. Uh, just let it go. Just wait until you can get on your way here. Don't make things any worse. Because next thing you know, you're in a fight, and then the cops show up, and then you got who knows what kind of ball of worms you'll get into at that point. So I let it go, and after the guy told me to go ahead and go, I got to thinking. I said, well, the kid's probably going to get reprimanded anyways, because the older guy that was trying to calm him down seemed like, that guy was out of line. No doubt about it. He was way out of line. Well, anyway, that kind of, when something like that happens, it kind of sets you back. I mean, I was disturbed. I don't let it ruin my day, but still, it had me upset. Nobody deserves to be treated that way when, just out of the blue for no reason. So, yeah, they needed to up their, I work construction sites, and I know usually the guys that we put on the flag duty with the stop sign didn't have a lot of talent to help us do anything else on the job. So it's like, yeah, you go down there and flag traffic, you go down there and flag traffic. And that way it's a good job for them, keeps them out of the way while we can do our work. He sure had an anger issue. And boy, oh boy, I would still love to clock him one, but I shouldn't talk like that. That's not me. That's not who I am. Well, it is a beautiful day here in Northeast Ohio. It rained cats and dogs yesterday, and the yard is all mush wet, but the roads are clear. The rain washed any salt off the road, and it's like in the 60s today, so I think I'm going to saddle up, take the bike for a ride, blow the stink off, and enjoy the afternoon. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you guys coming along for this ride. Hit me with a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my videos. I'd love to have you continue to follow me on this ride. Till next time, cats, you all ride hard and die free.